Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, with, like always is, Noah Bailey. And we've done this before. Back in 2019, we did our top 10 most anticipated things of that year. We didn't do it in 2020, probably for the best, because all that stuff got delayed into this year.
We knew what we were doing.
So, yeah, I thought since everything from 2020 did get delayed, I thought it would be fun to go over our top 10 most anticipated things of 2021. And this could be literally anything. It could be movies, shows, games, just having the ability to go outside again.
Seriously. Seriously.
So, yeah, there's a lot to look forward to this year, and hopefully it doesn't get delayed again. Looking at you, Black Widow. Don't get delayed again.
Seriously, because I mean, and it's because there's a lot of stuff that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna squeeze this into 2021. I'm like, if it gets delayed even a smidge, it's gone.
If Spider-Man
So
3
I'm
gets
very
delayed 4 days, it's out.
because it's like what the 21st of December.
Yeah.
So like barely. I'm like, if we get delayed by a week, you're basically gone. Like, this is, oh goodness gracious. So the stress, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Do you want to kick us off with your 10th most anticipated thing?
I actually do, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So my so I put the Snyder cut at number 10. Now hear me out.
Uh-huh.
This is one of those things I wanted to see it because I want to see what everyone's talking about. Because again, we've seen Justice League, we've seen these other movies, we talk about it all the time. Some people praise it like it's the greatest thing ever put on the screen. Everyone else is like, I don't get it. This is terrible. And
terrible.
no, I'm with you. No, we are both in the latter group, as I think we should be. And and that is what it is. Like some people love it. If you do, that's great. I'm glad you got movies you like. But for me, for you, for apparently most of the country so far, I guess in terms of like views and stuff. But yeah, this has been pleading for it. The hashtags have been going for years. I mean, it's happening.
Yeah.
March is kicking off. So which. They are doing it episodically, but I mean, they're doing, I don't know how often it's going to be, but enough that it should be done this year. So, I mean, it's coming. There's going to be a lot for it. And I'm kind of excited for it, more of just to, one, get it over with, and just all right, cut it out there, no more complaining. And two, this is it. Because if this sucks, I'm done. I'm done forever. If this sucks, you can't say anything. Ever.
If this sucks and people still try to praise Zack Snyder,
but that's what I'm done. That's what I'm saying. And that's my thing. That's what's the problem is because, no matter what, it could be literally just Zack Snyder sitting on the toilet taking a dump, and people would be like, "I love it."
Yes.
And so it's literally
the color grading is so cool. It's real. It's
oh, that's so smart. It's like that's not smart. That's not even how that works. They don't even use the characters right. And it's so interesting to me because the differences in how fan bases react to how characters. Because you think about Star Wars, everyone hates how they just how Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams changed things, but everyone hated it. They're like, no, the Force does this and that and that. It doesn't do this. This character's like this and that and boom and boom and boom and destroy. And then when it's all these DC characters that they are completely butchered or rewritten or just don't even make sense, shouldn't even be there, or are wasted entirely, it's oh, he's a genius. This is so much better than anything ever written. Oh, do you guys even read comic books? Because this is from, this one issue from 1978 that no one's ever heard of. And it's just
it makes complete sense that Lex Luthor has that hair because in this all Elseworld Superman story, Lex Luthor had a son who had hair like that. So Lex Luthor has hair shut up.
And I'm like, what? One, Zack Snyder did not know that. I don't maybe some guy who works at DC may have hinted that, and Zack Snyder's like, okay, cool, run with it. and
Mhm.
Jesse Eisenberg just didn't want to cut his hair really, and
Yeah,
maybe they did it right at the end.
I
But
don't
like,
know.
no, Jack Snyder, like, don't give him that much credit. Like, you
Mhm.
cannot give him that kind of credit, and that's kind of my thing. Everyone kind of just like picks things, and they're like, "Oh, this is great, Zack Snyder," and like, so the fact that he completely missed the boat on like pretty much all the major characters,
On
more
the
or less.
Batman versus Superman part of the movie, just
No,
completely
I mean,
botched
like,
the
pretty
reason
much,
why they're
like,
fighting.
no, but it's like he missed the boat on the characters, how they act,
Mhm.
how origins of different characters. I mean, Doomsday is just kind of thrown out of his butt. Like, like stuff like that is just completely out of nowhere. And and there's all these different things, like this is how this is, this is how this is, this is how this is, these characters do this characters like that, boom, 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 and then everyone's like, oh, it's great. And I'm like, is it? Because it's so weird, because it's like when you look at Star Wars, if you had looked at Star Wars with the same logic, people would love the movies because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
whatever you put on screen is golden. But when it's
Hmm.
Zack Snyder, it's like, oh, well, Zack Snyder just knows everything about DC. I'm like, no, not really, because I mean, and again, I'm not trying to
He's the
say,
first character. He's the first person in history to actually give Jimmy Olsen a purpose. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
what is his purpose? To get gunned down, like, without even pretty much saying a word? Like, I don't really, I mean, like Jimmy Olsen was, for better, like Olsen had as much effect on that movie as Brad Pitt had on Deadpool 2. Let's be
Yes.
real. So I mean,
Yes.
so like I don't really see how he was really in it,
Mm,
that other than just to be there to get shot.
yes.
And like it was like Superman didn't really seem to care either. Like I don't
Never
even
met
think he
him.
noticed, to be honest. Like
You might
he
have
kind of
heard it.
just,
It's like, oh, that was just some guy who died. Like, okay, whatever.
yeah, like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, Jimmy, my best friend. Let me have a breakdown. Like if he had like a breakdown, lost it, and then went ape, then I'm
Mm,
like, okay, that's one thing. But it was
no.
kind of just like, no, I'm just gonna kill all these terrorists. Like, okay,
And
like,
I think the thing about the Snyder Cut that I am legitimately excited about is the fact that, or at least legitimately, ironically excited about, is the fact that all these people have already decided that this movie is flawless. This movie is going to be the greatest movie. It's already their favorite movie of all time. It hasn't even come out yet. Yesterday, there was this screenshot of Wonder Woman just like standing, or like it was, yeah, she was Diana, just like standing on a balcony. She's just standing on a balcony, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, the color grading of the shot! Like it looks so fantastic. It's gonna be the greatest movie ever." Hashtag like reverse the or like revive the Snyderverse, and like it's a screenshot of a woman standing. If you say that the color grading looks better than any Marvel movie, it's like she's just standing.
it's weird because like there's only like it's. I've talked to my brother about this, and like it's weird because there's only certain aspects of entertainment where like this kind of stuff. It's like this kind of pop culture, like music and sports are the only places where people will just undeniably cannot be wrong about something
Hmm.
is great, no matter what you think.
Yes.
It's like no matter what you say, this is the greatest thing ever. You can't convince me otherwise, and this is why you're wrong. And it's like it's not even having a logical discussion, or there's no logical argument. It's just this is great because this is great, and it's like we'll bring
Hmm.
up like like okay, let me get your point. And it's like, well, no, because boom, boom, and it's like I mean, like, and again, I know I haven't read every comic book. I'm not saying that I have. I've read quite a few, but again, not all of them.
Hmm.
So yeah, there are comic books I'm sure that's like, oh well, look at this little, I did, I wasn't around in 1970 or 1980, so it's like, you missed this one little reference to this that makes up. It's like, well, one, that doesn't pay off for anything because you didn't
Yes.
use it, and two, I mean, you used it wrong.
References
Like if
don't
you
make your
make a
movie
reference,
good. Exactly.
well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you reference something incorrectly, that doesn't make it good, in my opinion. Because,
Yes.
like, and I understand, like, when it's your movie, like, you can have the ability to change certain stories to make things more helpful for what you're trying to convey. But at the same time, it feels like a common theme of we're just going to throw stuff together, and the fanboys are like, this is genius.
Hmm.
There's not really a plan here. It's kind of just, this is what we're doing. And it's like,
Yep.
why? Like you didn't even have to do that.
I don't.
But
I don't
it's
know.
just like Like, what is the reason? Like, for like the like with the whole like Cassandra Cain thing, it's like she's just kind of in the movie. She is nothing at all like the actual original character in any way,
Yeah,
and it's kind of just, oh, but that's what but that's a Batman character. It's like, well, yeah, but you totally
yeah.
ruined them. You didn't even do it right.
It. I kind of like Birds of Prey, but yes, that movie, because she's named Cassandra Cain, I can't help but feel it's a wasted potential. Even though Cassandra Cain has potential to be one of the coolest characters on the big screen, but because it's just there's decided to name this random girl Cassandra Cain, you can't use her later. But
Right.
they just named her Lucy or just some random like, or even Stephanie Brown. I think would have been like a better like
It would have made more
more at least a
sense.
little more sense. Yeah, but
Yeah, like you could have argued, okay, well, because Stephanie Brown, I think her dad's like Clue Master or something like that, or something like that.
spoiler?
I,
No, wait,
wait, somebody,
she is
hold on.
spoiler. I don't know.
Maybe that just came out of my butt. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I'm right. Yeah,
Okay,
Clue Master. No,
okay.
I'm right. I don't know why I thought I was wrong. I was like, no, I know what I'm talking about. Like I'm not like I know
uh,
what I'm talking. But no, but like so like maybe okay, maybe she had some run in with some villains because she has connections to some other villain. Like you could kind of maybe argue that later, but like, and I know like, oh well, Cassandra Cain, her mother is Shiva. That's a super villain. Like yeah, but it's like one, that doesn't make sense. Two, Cassandra Cain's like her whole thing is like she doesn't even talk. She just fights.
yeah.
Like that's her whole thing. Like she cannot talk. And
Mm,
like I don't know, it just kind of feels like okay, this is a Batman character. Let's put her in the movie
yeah.
because the fans know who that is. And it's like, but if you're not gonna use
You're
it,
not gonna use her. You're
why
not gonna
use it
make
at
her an
all?
assassin. You're not gonna make her Batgirl. Why bother? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I know that's kind of far down the Bat family tree anyway, because I mean, at this point, we don't even have Robin, any of them
We
really. I
had a
mean,
reference to a
apparently one of
Robin.
them's dead.
Yeah, apparently Dick Grayson's the one that died. Like, okay.
Somehow, which again doesn't. I mean, only in like I guess like what like Injustice and like some other continuities, Dick Grayson's like died, but like not,
Yeah,
well, everyone's died more than once. But I mean, but you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
actually, like I don't know. It just feels weird. Like like because everyone knows that the Joker kills the second Robin. Everyone knows that Jason Todd he has this whole thing like boom boom boom. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
because
and that's Batman 101. Like
unless
that's
you
not.
just skip to Tim Drake and just skip over Jason and then have Dick Grayson come back as Red Hood, which would just be so stupid. You can't
I don't
follow up on that
know.
story. You
I
can't
don't
have a second
know.
Robin. It's dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's like one, it wouldn't really feel earned. Because I feel like if you kill Robin before we get to that point,
Mhm.
we're not going to be invested or care about Robin nearly as
Yep.
much.
Yep.
And so, yeah. And it's weird because like even that Titan show knows which Robin is which. So it's like, what are you doing? Like you can't be like you don't know because like I mean I know like Zack Snyder I don't think it's right in the Titan show by any means, but like DC knows what like they should know like
Mhm.
hey I think that's actually the other Robin here maybe you should no I got well I'm
It's
just
my
trying to tell you
vision.
that if you try
It's my vision. Let me do what
yeah,
I want. My
it's
vision.
like whose cut is it? No,
Do you want the
I mean
fanboys to harass you for 3 more years that I didn't wasn't able to do my full vision correctly because you pigeonholed me? I don't think that, so let me do what I want.
yeah, and it's just kind of okay. But I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things that's like hard to. I don't know. It's weird because
Yeah.
like I don't know. I just don't get it. I've like tried looking up like YouTube videos and like why people really like it and like stuff like that. And like I watch them and I'm like I kind of hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with your points, you know? And
Yeah.
everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I
But
mean, I don't know. It just kind of
I've seen a
feels.
couple of videos of people trying to defend this movie, and from memory, the ones that I watched, they they made points that weren't backed up by the movie itself. They just like said all these reasons why they like it. They say why all these characters were actually done well or the adaptations were actually good, and then they just kind of like made interpretations that weren't actually in the movie itself. And I'm like, you can't just because I feel this movie is good, it is good. At least have like like whenever I try to defend The Last Jedi, I have very poignant points as to why each individual aspect that I like actually worked. Whereas these people just say it was a good adaptation because I liked it. I liked it because it was a good adaptation. Just that circular logic of like, I hate that so much. And they're going to do the exact same thing for Snyder Cut. And the reason why I am so excited for it is that the people will finally shut up. You got your Snyder Cut. Just let the people that like it like it. Let the people that don't like it just stay on either side of the internet. Don't interact. Just shut up.
Oh, but it's not going to end there. I mean, because again, you give people an inch, they'll take a mile.
They're
Because
gonna
again,
demand for sequels and spin-offs to
yep, yep,
Batfleck to
yep,
return and
yep,
Man of Steel
yep,
3. Like, ugh.
yeah. Which like I don't know, man. I don't get it. I hate it too because again, and I'm on record saying this. I love DC a lot more than I like Marvel.
Mm.
And I'm not saying I don't like Marvel. I think the Marvel movies are better than like the current DC anime universe by
Leaps
a
and
big
bounds better.
margin. But I still overall like DC characters and DC storylines a lot more. Part of that's because I grew up with more DC stuff, and I don't really, and like there was like Marvel shows and Marvel comics, but like it was more. I was like 75% raised on DC, 25%
Hmm.
Marvel. So it's like I just have a preference.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, I like DC better, so the DC movies are killing it and Marvel movies aren't that good. The Marvel movies are crushing it.
Yes.
Like, they're not all good. Some are okay, some suck. A lot of them are really good, though.
Like
And
eighty
then the
percent
DC
are
movies,
really
it's
good.
like, yeah, and it's like there's a good margin of DC movies that not cutting it, not cutting it.
There's
And it's just core stuff, and that's kind of the end of the day. Like, and I know we say this every time, but it's like the reason I don't have any faith in this is because they're not gonna. I don't think they're changing the core stuff that I think is wrong. I don't
Mhm.
think they're gonna completely rewrite every single character and their style, how they do everything with the character. I think they're just gonna add extra stuff, change the film colors, and like those things. Like I mean, I'm colorblind. The color was not the problem. I
Yeah.
promise you that. So I mean,
Yeah. Like
like that's not why I didn't like it. It was because I don't like how they're portraying the characters, and I know there's like, oh, it's an adaptation, they're different, but it's like, yeah, but like if they're different, you kind of need to at least have an idea. Like the only reason I know this guy's Batman is because he's wearing a Batman costume.
yeah.
Like, this guy. I mean, for all I know, this guy looks like the Punisher if he wanted to be. Like,
Yeah.
like
It'll just be the movie we already got, but longer and maybe look prettier. That's it. Like it'll be more visually interesting because the Justice League movie we got didn't look just visually didn't look great. You could easily tell when they were on like green screens and the CG didn't look finished. Like just that was not a good movie to look at. I would be completely fine with never having to watch that movie ever again. Although I am not saying that I want to watch the Snyder Cut per se. Like I don't feel like the Snyder Cut needs to exist, although it is going to exist. So sure, I guess.
yeah, I mean, it's coming,
Yeah,
but I mean, we'll see. It
yeah,
is what it is, and at the end of the day, eh,
yeah.
somebody
Fans,
will be
fans
happy it
get
came
got
out.
what they
That's all
want.
that
Hope they're
matters.
happy. Just don't ask for too much, please. Just
Yeah, we'll
be
be
satisfied in
fine.
what
Yeah,
you got. Just don't harass Warner Brothers anymore. Just
yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my number 10.
yes. My number 10 is also a DC movie, The Suicide Squad.
Ah,
I so everyone and their mother when watching the original Suicide Squad from 2016, when watching the trailers and the movie itself, were like, this feels like DC trying to make a Guardian of the Galaxy movie. An ensemble cast of morally gray to villain characters set to a pop rock, soundtrack.
like a
Even
lot.
even the like story beats are very similar. So since everyone said that about the first one, when they were pitching the sequel, they were like, "Hey, why don't we just get the guy that made Guardians to just actually make our Guardians?" Like, yeah, like I like James Gunn a lot. I don't love the Guardians movies as much as other people. In fact, I like Guardians 2 much more than the Guardians 1. I think they're both like pretty good movies. They're just not like I know a lot of people think that the Guardians 1 is like, top tier Marvel. I think it's fine. I just don't love it to that extent. I probably B tier for me personally, but like
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
but still Guardians 2 I do really like, and people don't love that one for some reason. I do, whatever. So like regardless, I feel if he just kind of wants to make a Guardians movie, but with DC characters, it's going to be good. and and the fact that something that will be very different from Guardians is that I love the idea that because this this cast is so insanely large, there's like
Ridiculous.
20 villains he has to work with. Half of them are dying first act, guarantee.
Oh, absolutely. No, they're no like the amount of like carnage. It's gonna be ridiculous because like they're just gonna get like
Yep.
popped off
Nathan
super
Fillion's
fast.
character die in first 20 minutes. Pete Davidson's character being the first one to die.
Oh, absolutely.
Sean Gunn, like the Rat King, whatever he is, he's gonna like just you have so many characters who either are gonna die or be possessed by Starro, which again Starro is the main villain. Like that's
That's awesome.
great.
Yeah, and
Like
we haven't seen Starro at all.
yeah,
I mean, really, I can't even remember the last time I
outside
saw
of like
Starro in pretty much
Brave and the
anything.
Bold, Batman Brave and the Bold, maybe.
Yeah, but like even then, like that's like such an obscure like
Yeah,
like I know there was a Batman Beyond Justice League episode, and then yeah, I think Batman Brave and the Bold is like the last time I saw Starro in pretty much anything.
yeah. I don't think he was in
So
any of the
yeah,
DC animated universe movies.
there was one like Easter egg in one of the Batman Arkham Knight DLCs. It was like really hard to find
Yes,
though.
and
Like I only
there
know if it was in
was
YouTube.
something involving like a piece of Starro in Young Justice, right?
Oh, that is
In
right.
Atlantis,
I
like
think so. I
yeah,
think so.
they like the villain team stole a piece of him to do something. Like they didn't create Starro, but like they used a piece of him to do something. But like we haven't seen Starro, face grab people and mind control an entire planet before. Like I think that's since you have 20 odd villains to work with, half of them being either killed or possessed by Starro for the rest of the team to then fight. I think, and like because they are villains, you won't really care about these characters killing each other. I think that just sounds like a fun time.
Right.
And like watching
Yeah.
Idris Elba,
Yeah.
and like you already kind of can tell which characters are gonna live and which one are gonna die. Obviously, Peacemaker, you have like he already has a spin-off show. Idris Elba's character, obviously Harley Quinn, Jai Courtney, what's his name, Captain Boomerang. Obviously,
Yeah.
those four they're gonna walk away scot free. Like
And everyone else is pretty much
everyone
on the
else is
chopping
free. Yeah,
block. Yeah, and I think that's kind of how they're doing it. It's like everyone who just kind of got added in, just kind of almost for the joke
yeah.
of having a bunch of characters. Is like now they have the freedom to just be like, all right, guys, well, here we go. But
And especially if they go off the idea that this movie takes place more or less kind of in its own timeline, because I know they at least said they're going to start doing more Elseworld or inter like multi-dimensional stuff, especially with Black Adam and Flashpoint. If there's like even though King Shark is in this movie, he might die in this movie, but he still could show up in a future Flash or Batman or whatever movie down the road. I think that's fair.
yeah, and I kind of like that idea too, because like so you don't necessarily like not, they're done
Mm,
for the character just going forward. Because like because that's the thing about villains. It's like, well, let's keep them around, see what they can, because they got villains come in handy, and if you kill them off, then you can't use them again.
yeah,
So
yeah. So yeah, I think, and James Gunn already confirmed that the soundtrack for this movie is going to be crazy, which like, yes, it's already looking reminiscent of an '80s action movie just from Rick Flag's Get Up. Like it's very '80s. All the characters look fantastic. Harley Quinn's in her black and red jumpsuit. Like it just,
OG suit,
yeah,
which I don't think have we really. I mean, have we really seen that except for like maybe like a second?
it was there for a second in the first movie, but
Yeah,
and in a deleted scene she had it, I think, but that I don't care. So, which
Yeah, this should be good. This should
I
be
just
good.
I am terrified that kind of going back to the Snyder Cut for just a second. I am terrified that the air cut of the first Suicide Squad movie, the one that the trailer company like messed around with in order to get the movie that we got. Apparently, the David Ayer cut is actually kind of exists, especially like it's essentially in the same way that the Snyder cut did. So I hope that people don't try to like after the Suicide Squad comes out, try to like demand Warner Brothers release the Ayer cut because that
No,
is not
gee.
going to be a good movie. Are you kidding me? Are you no?
And yet, now that I mean, like, and again, like, you never know. Like, people will find stuff to write about, man. Like, you
Yeah.
think, like, they will.
Hmm.
Like they'll be like, wait, oh, can we write about that? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Release this. Release. Wait, what's that? I don't know, but we need to see it. Okay, let's
Okay,
release
sure.
it.
I don't need this to be an A tier superhero movie. I don't necessarily want an A tier superhero movie from this. I just want a fun, action packed, just fun,
Crazy.
action packed 2 hours that I can, just vibe to. Like it just, especially if the soundtrack is as fantastic as I know it's going to be. Even if he reuses some of the same songs, like great, I don't care. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. And as long as the focus is about, they're not trying to make it like super convoluted too, because I think that's what the last one really had a problem with. Like, the plot made no sense.
hmm
Like, no one knew what was going on. We're like, what is going on? It's not even Enchantress. Enchantress's brother who's doing like
why?
what
Why
like
that stupid brother?
like why are we even like we made this way too hard and like so I think this time it's gonna be okay. Simple premise. Here we go. This is it. Just go. Just go. Like,
hmm
very simple. A to B. Go.
Yep.
Like I think that's kind of what I think that's what they should go for. I would highly recommend that be their move,
Oh yeah.
but anything is possible.
Yeah. Like what was I gonna say? Whatever. Like yeah, do we. I just want I think I said everything I need to say about it. Yeah, I thought I had something else to say. I don't. I think it's just going to be a solid, fun movie. That's all I want. Just DC movies to just have fun with them. Don't try to be super serious like Suicide Squad was. Like the movie we got was so disjointed because the air parts were so dreary and serious, and then the over edited parts had the flashy soundtrack and just weird editing. It just felt very disjointed. I just want James Gunn just to have fun with this movie, and if he has fun, I'll have fun watching it. So yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, it goes pretty well. But we'll
Mhm.
see.
Number 9.
Number nine. All right. So number nine on my list, I have WandaVision. Now this is
Me
coming
too.
out.
Me too.
Oh, wow,
Cool.
perfect.
Sweet.
So yeah, this comes out what 2 weeks from today, I think.
The 15th. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so the
hmm
15th. Yeah, 2 weeks. I'm excited for this because like one, it looks crazy. I don't know what's going on, and I really like it.
hmm
So I'm kind of just like, yeah, sure. Let's see what happens. It's
Yeah.
one. It's definitely gonna be one of those like head scratchers in terms of like trying to wrap your head around everything going on. But
hmm
it looks really interesting. I like the idea of they're kind of like I guess jumping from different eras and like
I
sitcom like
love
family
that.
sitcom things.
I
That's
love that.
so it's such an interesting concept that I'm interested to see how they do it. If they're gonna be doing that the whole time or like just a certain part of it. I don't really know, but that's really interesting to me. And I like how they've got actually had people who have been in those kinds of shows also in the show,
hmm
which is really
hmm
interesting to me. So it's gonna. I'm really excited to see how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
I like Wanda's character. I think her abilities make her very interesting because I mean she can pretty much do anything more or less.
Yes.
And yeah, Vision coming back is it's been a while because last we saw Vision, he got his head ripped out pretty much. twice
twice.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that was pretty rough.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just so looking forward to seeing Scarlet Witch's powers be just expanded upon more because
mm,
one thing that's kind of bugged me about the way the MCU handled her is that every single movie, it seems her power set works differently. Like in the first one, she seemed to focus more on the mind powers, and then at the end, she kind of did more, telekinesis and whatnot.
hmm
And then in the Russo movies, she seemed to only like shoot, shoot blasts or throw stuff, and that's about it. She didn't really, because like we know that Scarlet Witch can do, like you said, pretty much anything. And there was maybe one time that she like psychically talked to Vision once in Infinity War, but other than that, she didn't do anything with her mind powers in any of the Russo movies. So delving full into her reality bending abilities, going more into how she can control stuff, control people's minds, etc. I'm just looking forward to it.
mm.
Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah,
seeing how Vision is coping with him being dead, it's gonna be, you know,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because I mean, trauma like that can really like mess with someone. So like having with her powers the way they are, is with what she's going through. I mean, for all we know, this entire thing is completely Wanda's
yeah,
thing. She could be anywhere. We don't even know. I mean, last we saw her, I mean, we don't. We never. Did we really? I mean, we don't know what happened after Endgame. We're just kind of
no,
just doing our own thing. So I
yeah.
guess we. I guess this is what we'll figure out where she's up to.
I just had a couple of interesting thoughts. So my first thought was it would be pretty interesting if, because remember her powers came from the Mind Stone,
Right.
and Thanos reduced all those stones to ashes. So it would be kind of interesting if her powers somehow allow her to like connect with the very like essence of the Mind Stone that's just like out in the universe, which is what allows her to create this new dimension and
Ooh.
like kind of bring Vision back at least in some form.
Yeah.
My other thought was that I would be shocked if a Quicksilver didn't show up in this show.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I
Even
was gonna bring
even the
next.
Evan Peters one from the X Men movies, or the Pietro
The
that
original.
we got, yeah,
Yeah,
other one,
that would be pretty cool to see. Cause like again, it kind of just died at the end of Ultron and kind of just never talked about it
hmm
ever again. Like
yep,
it's one thing where it's like he's dead, so he doesn't show up. But it's like never was talked about. Kind of
nope,
forgot he was there. She even dropped the accent after that. Like you kind of just
yep,
forgot it happened if you don't. Like if you didn't like if you didn't like see that, you wouldn't see that movie. You wouldn't even have known anything about it. Like because it's just kind of they kind of just dropped a lot of stuff that happened in that movie outside of obviously Ultron just kind of existing.
yeah,
But like, yeah, I mean that's pretty much yeah. So yeah, I would be really cool to see if they bring back Pietro, see if they do that. But at the same time, I don't know. It'd be interesting. Like I would like it, but at the same, I would depend on how they handle it. I guess.
yeah. And I do think that since this show is directly tying into Multiverse of Madness, I think we definitely have opportunity for interdimensional stuff to happen. So
Yeah,
that's yeah.
absolutely.
Literally
And
the only reason this show isn't higher up on the list is because it's coming out so soon. So like I'm already kind of not not excited, but like there's other stuff to be excited about that's further down the line. So it just kind of
right.
yeah.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it's also just kind of like I mean, it's more so this show I'm more excited about because of what else it can do.
Yes.
Like what it will set up. Because like you said with Doctor Strange, could this be our link to the X Men? Could this be who knows what's coming? You know what I'm
hmm
saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, because right now, I mean, she's really the only link to the X Men we have at all.
hmm
Because I mean, she is an X Men character, which I still don't understand how they were able to do that. Like,
I don't know. It
uh,
was confusing. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, number nine.
Number eight.
Number eight. Okay, right. We're back to number eight.
Yep.
Okay, now this one might be a little bit low, but I've got Book of Boba on here at
Book
number
of
eight.
Boba. Okay.
Yeah. But I like this because again, we didn't see a ton of Boba Fett and Mandalorian. Spoilers for Mandalorian if you haven't seen it, but then again, you didn't see our last podcast, so whatever.
Hmm.
So, so Book of Boba, I love it. I like the premise. He kind of just walks in Jabba's palace. I own the place now. Sits on the throne like a boss, and it's interesting to think. Okay, where are we going with this? And that's really cool because, like, yeah, I like Boba Fett. Boba Fett is a fan favorite, despite what he may or may not have actually done on screen
Yeah.
in the original movies. But I mean, but he's a pretty cool. He's a good guy. He seems really cool, And like, what are we gonna do with this? Is he gonna
Yeah.
become the like, Is he gonna continue to be a bounty hunter? Is he just like I'm like a, crime boss kingpin kind of guy
Hmm.
now? Like, what's really the move here? Is he gonna be coming back from Mandalorian, or is he kind of going his own way? Like, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I have it a little further down the list.
Fair
Is
enough.
there anything else you want to say about it now? Like, obviously, you are excited. Is there anything else you want to like say about
No,
it? Or
I mean that's pretty much all I got. Like I'm excited for it. I don't know, but like there's nothing I really know about it. It's pretty
yeah.
much just we run the place now, supposedly. If they
Hmm.
let that happen, what are the Hut clan's gonna think? Who are we gonna potentially run into? Is this some guy gonna connect to something that's happened in the prequels, or is it more just going for it? Is it just for Mandalorian? I don't know. Let's find out.
Yes. That's exciting. Uh, yeah. Like I said, I'll talk about it more further up.
Mm.
But my number 8 is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's my seven.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I was those two. I kind of had neck to neck. I just kind
Mm,
of put it. I don't know. I think I watched Anthony Mackie interview, and then I put it a little bit higher
uh-huh.
because I just hilarious. But,
That like
yeah, go ahead.
that show is just gonna be good. It just obviously Bucky is one of those characters that like I still don't necessarily love. I think I think as a villain he was a very strong antagonist in Winter Soldier,
Mhm.
but he's had that like anime trope where when the villain becomes the good guy they turn lame, that type of thing, like Vegeta, like as
Yeah,
soon as they become the
yeah.
good guy they're just like they can't do anything for themselves. um and like I don't want to think that because his character is more important than just what he does. His link to to Steve and just that old world and like just everything, just having a friend for Steve to bond with just is good to have. But I don't know, his character also I don't like necessarily love Sebastian Stan as an actor anyway. I think he's fine. He just doesn't grab me in like any significant way. But like whatever. Anthony Mackie does. I love the Falcon. I I love the idea of these two characters. These two characters who have both became very good friends with Captain America in very different circumstances, very different eras. Being together and like it just I think that's a very, very cool concept and them kind of struggling as to like I know he said that you should be the the next Captain America, but you know, I actually have the means to do it because I'm cybernetically enhanced. I actually have the super soldier serum. Like I know you can do it, but do you even want it? And he's like, I don't know if I really want it, but it's a lot of responsibility. But he gave it upon me. Should neither of us have it? Should this other guy that the
Right.
government just chooses to have it? Like,
Yeah, and then there's also like, well, Bucky, I would give it to you, but you were a war criminal,
yeah,
like, so like, I don't know if that's the best, like,
yeah,
like, what I mean? I know that was framed, but like, I mean, I don't know if they really know that. That's kind of
hmm
just us thing. Like, I don't know, but like,
so yeah, I think that their character interaction, I think, are going to be a lot of
yeah,
fun.
no, and like even especially in Civil War, like they're back and forth kind of, like I think of the scene of like when Spider-Man webs him up and he's just like, I hate you.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much the whole show. Pretty much is going to be that.
Even
I'm kind
something
of
as simple
thinking.
as can you move your chair up? No.
No. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be, like stuff like that is gonna make this show golden. Like that
Hmm.
is what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
gonna be so funny and it is gonna be big because again, this is the next Captain America
Yeah.
theoretically. How this is gonna go, and this is obviously gonna have huge. And that's one thing I love about all these shows. This is gonna have big implications across the board as far as Marvel goes.
Hmm.
So that's really exciting. I love how they actually got the actors to like, hey, let's just do TV shows, but don't worry, they'll be movie quality basically. And
Hmm.
that's huge because we can tell multiple stories without,
Yeah.
making movies necessarily. We can have more content coming out
Like,
and it's longer.
yeah, you watch that trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier, you
Oh
would
yeah.
forget you're not watching a trailer for a movie. Like, it's that
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I mean it
Like,
looks
the
super
costume
good. The
design is
music's good.
so
Yeah.
good. And that scene
It's
of
like
Falcon like flying
no,
through that canyon
no.
being
The
chased, like,
new
oh my
no,
goodness.
the new Falcon. I don't know if I said this before, but the new
Uh,
Falcon suit looks so dope. Like
sick.
I liked the old one because it kind of had like a modern take. The new one though, it looks awesome. I'm not even
Hmm.
gonna lie. Like, it looks very good.
Yes.
Like the wings alone, I was gone. I was like, yes.
Yes.
Like it looks exactly how it's supposed to
Hmm.
look. It still has kind of the future. It still has like the tech look, but it has the more traditional Falcon like colors and everything.
Yeah.
Like it looks good.
Oh yeah. And Zemo coming back as at least a
Right.
antagonist is just a good idea. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
like
mean that.
f- Marvel shows this year are just like I know like pretty much every single Marvel thing we're going to talk about was supposed to happen last year, but since they're happening this year, even better. Like,
Right.
yeah.
It's like we gotta do what we gotta do. It is what
Mhm.
it is, but it's still gonna be awesome. Like it's better late than never, and it's gonna be a great time. I'm
Yeah.
excited. So
Mhm. Anything else you want to say about before I go to my number seven?
just I'm happy for it. I'm excited. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like Disney Plus is gonna make Disney Plus earns its is gonna be worth every penny this year. That's
Hmm.
for sure.
It's going up by $1, but I'll pay it. So
I
whatever.
will pay it, and I will happily.
So my number seven, another Disney Plus show, The Bad Batch.
Mmm.
Literally for no other reason than I hear sequel to Clone Wars. Dave Filoni is attached with the same art style as season seven. You sold me. Like,
The winner.
yeah,
The winner.
you have that classic Star Wars soundtrack in the trailer. You have like the Clone Wars band are like burning away the Bad Batch. Like it just the idea of Cody potentially being a major villain in at least one arc of the show is just oh that's so exciting. I hope they do
After
that. Oh
all
my
we've
goodness.
been through with Cody and the 212 with Obi-Wan, like after all we've been through with
Hmm.
all the different missions and like all the way back to Christophsis is like now you're the bad guy.
Yes.
All the Jedi are basically gone. Like this is crazy.
Hmm. Like
Oh,
he already seeing clones being the bad guys and having the Bad Batch, who I guess weren't affected by Order 66, having to deal with that. Like that first interaction between the Bad Batch and the new like Stormtrooper clones is going to be just so tense and so good. Oh, goodness.
so hype. And
Yeah.
like having that like episode 3 like they brought back the original voice of Ian McDermott just
Mm,
like all the new the Republic will be reorganized. Like it's
mm,
all this like it's hype, dude. Like
yes.
the hype is real. I'm excited. I will admit the one thing I'm not 100% sold on the actual Bad Batch
Yes.
characters just because I don't. They had like what, like 4 episodes.
I think
They
it was
were
four. Yeah.
okay, but yeah, but they weren't like I wasn't really concerned about them. They were just also there personally. But
Yeah.
now obviously they're the main focus. That's my one concern, but I'm sure they'll find it and make them very likable.
Yeah. That's the only reason why it's not a little higher on my list. But also we have Echo along with them, so
Yeah,
I think like
I do
we
like
we like him.
Echo.
So
I
Yeah.
will admit, I know this probably might not be enough, but I don't really like what they did with Echo. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I think him not just being dead is kind of okay.
You're a
Like,
front
you
robot now.
know,
Okay.
I
Like,
still kind of don't understand how the what was it, the algorithm or whatever even
yeah.
works. Like,
Was it just like plugged into his brain and then it
okay,
like controlled him to say, I don't know. I don't,
I
I
guess,
don't know.
but it's like, how would he like? I don't know. It seemed though, like I know Star Wars, it's all made up, but it seemed very made up even for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
Just
like,
a
it
little
was
too far fetched. Just a little far fetched.
yeah, like that's not how the Force works. Like like it just seems a little like yes, this is magical, but like you're talking about stuff that's not even. And I know that wasn't even the Force. I just like saying that line, but
But yeah, absolutely.
anyway, yeah, I we'll see. We'll see what they like to do. We'll see. I'm a little like on the fence about that part, but other than that, I am very excited for the potential concepts. I
Oh yeah.
want to see the world post Order 66. I'm very excited to just how this
hmm
goes, and Filoni's on it. I mean, Filoni's been with us since. I mean, since the Clone Wars pretty much started. I think so. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think he was a show, or at least
he's
like
got it.
a director of. I don't know if he was the showrunner originally, but he was like a writer on the show originally. So like he,
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had his hand on it somewhat, but I mean, now
yeah,
he's the Godfather, so
of Star Wars at this point, basically.
basically, I mean, George is obviously still, I mean, the OG, but I mean,
Like
I think
of like
right
the
now,
modern era of
yeah,
good
like
Star Wars.
him and John Favreau pretty much are
Yeah.
they're the face of Star Wars right now as far as like minds behind it,
hmm
and as they should be because they are killing
They know what they're doing.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I am. Whew,
So yeah,
love it, love it, love it.
like essentially, if Dave Filoni he feels passionate about these characters, if he feels like he can make a good show out of them, he wants to explore the world after Order 66. This is
Hmm.
perfect for him. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. What are we on?
number
Six, I think.
six. Yep.
Number six. Okay. Number six, I have the Loki show.
Okay.
Now this I am so hype about. Like
Uh,
this was the show of all the shows originally, this was the one that I was like,
eh,
okay. Like I like Tom Hiddleston. I think he does a great job as Loki, but I'm like, what's he really gonna be doing? And
yeah.
then I saw the trailer.
hmm
Whoa. This thing is wild. I
I've
mean, they're
never
going
went from
everywhere
0 to 100 that fast. Is
that fast.
yeah.
And it was great. It was funny. It was mind boggling. It was just like, oh, we're doing all of this. We're going everywhere. We're doing everything. We're going in the past, the present. Like, oh, dude, like, I'm excited. It just looks great. It's going to be Loki causing trouble. It's what he
hmm
does, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because it looks good. It's it's gonna be everyone at their best, and who knows who might show up along the way. So
Yeah. We like the one thing I absolutely love about the Disney Plus Marvel shows is that literally anything that happens in these shows is considered canon. So like they could
yeah,
add random new characters, but it doesn't. Assuming they don't die, you don't be like, oh, they wasted that character on a show because like they could show up
right,
later as well.
right.
Like the fact that they're manipulating with with the fabric of time, like could also again lead into alternate dimensions. Like just they could because I imagine at some point this Loki, because this is a Loki from that scene in Endgame, I assume this Loki is gonna like see the memories of what happened to the primary timelines Loki, and then like because one kind of minor thing I wasn't super hyped about is the fact that it's not the Loki from Thor Ragnarok and all that.
Right.
It's still the
It's kind of like
evil
the
Loki.
Gamora thing. It's kind of like,
Yeah,
okay, I'll take it, but I will love it.
but because they are because they have the potential to tap into different timelines and stuff, I think at least like after a little bit in the show, he will like have a revelation of like how he's changed throughout, or maybe he'll like kind of get a feeling like this isn't for me. Like I feel like there's something missing in my life, or like something like that, and then he'll see the visions of the other timeline and change or something. Like I think, but until then. him just being evil again is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. And he might might have a change of heart along the way, and then of course could come back and then like
Yeah,
walk right in like a perfect timing to Thor, Love and Thunder, or wherever he
yeah,
wants to go. Or who knows? He might show up in the next Guardians movie. Like we have no idea. Like
easily could.
he
Yeah,
he could be anywhere, and and it's just like having a Loki is better than no Loki,
hmm
definitely.
absolutely.
So even if it's not the prime Loki, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Yeah, very exciting. Very. It's gonna be. Hopefully, knock on wood because it's only day one, but this has the makings of what could be a great year.
yeah. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. Assuming this stuff doesn't get delayed again, I don't think the shows are getting delayed. That's not happening. They already have like full on trailers for all
Right.
this stuff. Like Winter Soldier and sorry, Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki was already mostly filmed before last March anyway, or at least they were like I
Mostly
think
done.
yeah, I think they finished filming Falcon Winter Soldier in October maybe or something like that. So like yeah, they're just gonna put them on Disney Plus whenever they're ready. Black Widow still has a chance, but don't.
Don't ruin it.
So my number six, sticking with Marvel, Marvel's What If.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's most honestly mostly the fact that this show is animated. I think just the style of animation that it is, that kind of like pseudo 2D, 3D, kind of like Spider Verse style like animation.
Yeah.
I think that style of animation just works so well for Elseworld stuff. It just like feels right to be animated.
You
Yeah,
can get away with way more when it's animated than
yes,
.
like especially just picturing the Doctor Strange versus evil Doctor Strange fight. That
Mm.
fight, assuming they has the budget to do it, which I'm sure it will.
Oh
The
yeah, if it's animated, definitely.
every Disney Plus show has had like a $15 million budget per episode, so yeah, they'll easily pull that much or something like that. Like it's yeah,
They don't play.
like that fight alone is going to be insane. But like just having the potential to just see literally anything you could think of MCU wise. Like, oh, what if Black Panther became a Guardian of the Galaxy? Why not? Like,
It's like, yeah, sure, okay.
yeah.
It's like, all right.
What if zombies? What if
Oh,
uh,
yes.
Peggy Carter was Captain America, or I guess Captain Britain? Why not?
No,
Just
and like that's what I'm so excited about with those. It's just like one, Marvel Zombies has been a thing I've been thinking about for a long time, which
mm,
I'm like they wouldn't, but if they did,
yeah,
and now they are. So
mm,
like this is gonna be crazy, and that is animated, like it's gonna be wild.
yes.
Like
And also because
yeah,
it's animated, you can kind of suspend your disbelief a little more if characters who had already died in the Marvel movies, like if they have an Iron Man or a Captain America segment, you'd be like, oh, that they already died. Like it's animated, also different timeline. Just go
yeah,
with
it
it.
could be a different time. Like it go, yeah, because I think there was Captain America in the trailer,
Yeah.
like a zombie Captain America. So like perfect.
Hmm.
Yeah, and as it should be, because like that, it wouldn't feel right, without it.
Yeah. And I just there's so much potential for this show, and I hope it's not just a one-off thing. I hope if they have more ideas, they keep going with like more seasons of this kind
Yeah,
of. If the ideas are there, which considering they
they're
can
there.
do whatever they want with this idea, I'm sure there's enough people to be like literally throwing darts at the wall and being like, okay, let's do that.
Yeah, considering like 70 plus years of source material with
Yeah.
comics and the minds they have behind the product, like they could come up with some crazy stuff
Mhm.
easily. They're
Yeah.
like, ooh, what if Thanos is a good guy? Boom, like whole story.
What
Like who
what
knows?
if right before Thor, actually got his powers back in the first Thor movie, Frog Thor just like hopped on it and got got the power of Thor.
Frog Thor.
Frog Thor, like why not?
Frog Thor. Oh man,
They could do it.
they could. They very much could. Oh man, yeah. I mean, the possibilities are quite literally endless.
Hmm.
So yeah, this could be anything. This could be everything. It's gonna be awesome no matter what. Personally, I mean, who knows? This is gonna be
Yeah,
great.
yeah. So you're number five.
Okay, so my number five. This is gonna be the first video game,
Whoa,
at least from my. I think your game. Did you? I don't think you've listened to any games
not
yet.
yet, not yet. No.
Okay, number five. My number five is the Gotham Knights game.
Oh, that is
This
this
was
year. Yeah, yeah.
this is it because like as we went, I love Batman. This has been noted in like every podcast. We love Batman. It's great,
Uh,
and like I really enjoy the Arkham games. I know this game is going to be kind of different, but also kind of not. I mean, based
uh,
on what we've seen with like gameplay trailers and stuff like that, it looks like it, but it kind of behaves a little differently.
Slightly different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just enough to be like it's not, but it's the closest thing that
Mm,
else it would be. It's like a 70% match, and obviously the characters and everything are interesting. And like the way it looks like you can play as obviously multiple players. They actually do Tim Drake when he doesn't look weird, and
yeah.
like which is my personal preference. And like it looks very exciting. The story could be who knows what. I mean,
Yeah.
Batman's dead. So I mean,
He's a talent. Absolutely, he's a talent.
no, I mean, like, come on, like, we all know how this is gonna go. I mean, let's be honest. We
Yeah.
all know how this is gonna go. But yeah, this is really gonna be exciting, and I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
It'll be a great time. It's been a while since I mean, Arkham Knight was what, like 2015, I think.
15. Yeah.
Yeah, so
This isn't even the Rocksteady game. This is
right, right.
Montreal.
I know, but I mean, it looks kind of close. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly what's going to be on top, but it's the closest thing we get outside like the Spider-Man games. Is the closest thing we're going to get. So
Yeah, and the Court of Owls being the
okay,
main villain. Yes,
yes,
like
exactly. Great move. Great. Court of Owls has a lot of potential. It's one of those Batman. I guess I would say villain, but like I guess villain. You know what I mean? Group of villains. I guess.
entities. Yeah.
Yeah, entity. That's a good word for it. Yeah, like that doesn't get as much credit as it should. I really like the Court of Owls, so yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Just I love it. I like video games.
It'll be on
It's the movie.
PS4 as well, so you won't be left out.
Will be. Which yeah, because I was not about to buy a PS5 for one game.
Yeah. Okay. My number five is Spider-Man 3,
Ooh. Okay.
which I mean, I love the previous two Spider-Man movies. I know some people hate Homecoming and especially Far From Home for some unknown reason. I mean, I say unknown, although if you ask, they'll tell you. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think they both actually do well by the character, fine enough within the universe that it's given. I think the villains have been very strong so far. I think the scenarios have been very good so far. And I love Tom Holland as Spider Man, but I also really like Tobey Maguire as Spider Man, and apparently he's going to be in this.
Apparently, okay. Has any of this actually been confirmed? That's kind of my thing. It's like
No.
right, right. It's like it doesn't actually like we. With the amount of smoke, there has to be a fire. Like there has to be something going on.
Like
But at the same time, I don't. If we go
it's
into this and like there's no Tom Holland, or he just gets like a 5 second cameo, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's
it's
messed up.
impossible for several different sources to see Alfred Maloney, Jamie Foxx, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and like who knows who many other people on set of Spider-Man 3 without any of those characters actually showing up.
I know, but like I don't know. I know. I'm just saying, like if it's like it's one thing when you have J.K. Simmons come back for 5 seconds at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming, but it's another thing when it's like, okay, we're gonna bring back your entire childhood Spider-Man life, and everyone except for the guy who was the voice on the animated series is pretty much in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bringing back the like, you know what I'm saying? They're bringing back the pizza guy, pretty much, from Spider-Man at this point.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is in this movie. And it's just like,
Why
I
not?
mean, if this is true, this is
Mhm.
going to be the best Spider-Man movie probably ever. But I don't want to put it up there already.
But like even if by some miracle, I guess not miracle, if all of this
By
news
some
was,
licensing.
yeah, if by some weird, crazy coincidence that all of these people, all of these news outlets just happened to be wrong this time, all of these people weren't actually on set, or they were, but they were just invited because it's the new Spider-Man movie, so like Disney thought, oh, they should be here for some reason.
No,
I don't
no, because they would have done it before.
know,
Like,
I know,
no,
but
there's
like
no, like, there's no.
if somehow these characters aren't actually going to be in Spider-Man 3, I still firmly believe that Spider-Man 3 is going to be a very, very good movie.
Yes.
Because, Spider-Man on the run, potentially, having to team up with Daredevil to clear his name, having to fend off Kraven the Hunter or whoever else other villain who are going after him because people know who Spider-Man is now. Like, there's so much potential, and like it easily still could be a Sinister Six movie without having the other Spider people showing up. Like it just, I don't know. It's gonna be a good movie either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, no, like the floor is like it's gonna be really good, but the ceiling is this could break the world. Like you know what I'm saying? Like this
Yes,
could blow everyone's mind.
yes.
So
Just I can just picture the crowd freaking out if there is a scene right before like the end of the climax. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland like up on top of a building in their Spider-Man outfits, being like, "Let's go!" And they all like start swinging in unison, like just them swinging would be everyone just like just
oh, it's
freaking out,
nuts.
cheering for that.
Yeah, they have the music. They have like a rendition of like all their themes kind of put together,
Yes.
and then or just like the classic Spider-Man theme or something, and then the random American flag comes
Yeah.
in, and then you're like, yeah, what are we celebrating? I don't know.
America.
America. It was like every Tobey Maguire movie. There was always just that one
Yeah.
American flag just going. It's just like, I
Uh,
mean, yes, but like, why? Oh, so good. But no, I mean, that would be amazing. And like,
mm,
I mean, people would lose their mind. All like people would lose their mind. Like I don't even know. Like you wouldn't be able to get through the movie. Like you would see them on screen.
yeah.
Everyone just like, like the amount of yelling. Like, oh
Mm,
dude, I miss that so much. Just like
yes.
you gotta see. I gotta see this movie the day it comes out.
Yes.
100%.
So caveat to literally everything, even the caveats that I already put. Secret. I'm already going to go ahead and spoil it. Secret number 0: going to the movies. Just be able to go to the movies, assuming that can happen.
Yeah. Yes. No. Oh, I miss the movie so much. I even miss popcorn. Like, oh my
Like you
gosh.
can buy
Like,
popcorn here, but it's not. You can buy
no, it's
movie
not the
popcorn. Come on.
same. No, like it's not, and I don't mean like it doesn't taste the same 'cause I'm not watching a movie. It like it's literally like the popcorn machine popcorn tastes so much better.
Yes, it's just a
Like
better popcorn product. Actually, like I don't know how they do it.
it is. It's so good, and
Yep.
I'm just like, oh, like yeah, no, like the day we can go back to movies, I am getting the largest drink,
Hmm.
the biggest popcorn, like oh, oh, I'm so
Oh yeah.
excited. But
So, yeah. As long as I can see Spider-Man in theaters by December, it'll be over by December, right? Right. We can go back to the
I,
movies by December,
I
right?
mean, you know, I mean, remember when this? I mean, hey man, I remember we were talking about, oh yeah, it'll be ready by June,
And
and
some
here we
some
are in
idiots thought it'll be
January.
over 2 weeks. Like, no, come on.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. Two was it 2 weeks to flatten the curve? 9 months later. Oh come on! No, seriously, like it's crazy because
Mm,
just whew. Okay,
okay,
okay.
you're number 4.
Number four. Okay, so my number four, I have Black Widow.
Okay.
I'm really excited for this movie. I miss like I'm putting a lot into Black Widow. One because I anticipate this is the first movie I'm going to see as soon as the movies come back.
Mm,
Because one, everyone's probably going to see this movie because we're just deprived of Marvel movies, even though
yeah.
we're going to have shows at this point. But still, it's not the same.
Mm,
And two, like she died, so like I want to see her.
what? Yeah.
Like she did die, so it's like, oh, I want to see this movie. It sounds like it's going to be very good. And although there's not probably not going to be any like universe threat in this movie
Probably
that we've
not.
been accustomed to, it's still probably going to be at least at the minimum, millions of lives at stake. So it's going to
Yeah,
be pretty good stakes. Like I'll be honest, it's been so long, I'm kind of forgetting the trailers. Like I know it's like a family-ish movie, kind of her like
yeah.
assassin family,
And
but like
Taskmaster's the main villain, so
yeah,
that's
which
neat.
did look awesome because he had like copied other Avengers, which is really cool. But man, I'm so ready for movies to come back, and
Yes.
that's kind of why I wanted to like limit it just a little bit because I think I'm more excited about just going to the movies than
Hmm.
just seeing the movie specifically. But
Yeah,
it does look really good.
yeah.
Oh man!
For that reason in particular, it's actually not in my top 10. I'll have it in my honorable mentions, but I think
Wow.
I had it technically as number 11. Just it was like that or Suicide
Okay.
Squad, like going back and forth. Like I am excited for Black Widow. I've been excited for Black Widow for 2 years now. I'm just kind of
That's true.
drained of being excited for this movie. Like at this point, I just kind of want to see it just to say I've seen it. I'm still excited to see it. I still want to, you know, I still think whatever happens in the after credits scene of that movie is going to be something important. I don't know what, but I think something important is going to happen. Either Black Widow is going to just like come back to life in like the real timeline, or I don't know, they'll reveal that like someone else was actually Black Widow the whole time, and Natasha's actually alive. It could happen. I don't know.
Someone's like, well, hold on, like, wait, what? She was a scroll the whole time. Like,
Sure,
what?
why not?
What?
Like how crazy would it be if the after credits scene was just like a pan down of Black Widow lying there dead, and she just like transformed into a scroll? Like I don't know.
Bro. I'd just be like, what? Like, I would just freak. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like, did Fury know? Did anyone know this? Like, what is going on?
Mm,
Do we have? Oh my gosh! Like, if only. But
mm,
still.
yeah.
But yeah, super excited just to go back to movies. But also just like, and also like knowing I want to go early because one, it's a Marvel movie.
Yes.
Like it's like going to like it's like when you go with just like whenever it's one thing, but when you go like within the first weekend or so,
Hmm.
it's an experience along with the movie.
Yes.
Everyone is like knows everything, and everyone is up to date pretty much. Everyone's hype. It's like let's all we all yell when everything cool happens. It's gonna be dope.
Hmm. Yeah. My number four is the Book of Boba Fett.
Mm.
Again, Star Wars, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni. You got me. You
The
got me.
guys.
Like
Yeah.
I I loved what they did with Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian season two is fantastic. Just kind of more of that, but starring Boba Fett with Robert Rodriguez, the guy who directed the episode that really reintroduced him. Like it just
Yes.
yeah, like it's gonna be good. We'll probably get to see a little bit of flashback of what happened to him and like how he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Right.
Um, like random other characters that were in the Mandalorian, like as far as like side characters in the Mandalorian can still show up here and vice versa. Like this season, this show could kind of like lead into season three of the Mandalorian. Like it just yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. I guess my thing is like, why would he go back to Jabba's palace after
I
all
don't know.
that?
I don't know.
That's kind of my thing. I'm like, especially Jabba's dead.
Yeah,
I don't know what about the rest of the Huts. I mean, they could be around, but Jabba's dead. He killed old buddy. I always forget his name, but
Bib
you know who I'm
Fortuna.
talking about.
Bib
Yeah,
Fortuna.
what a name.
That's a good
I
name.
wonder who named all these characters. Like, I mean,
George
I assume
Lucas's
maybe it's like
son.
yeah, but I mean, gosh, that's hilarious. And like, yeah, he just comes back. Sarlacc. I mean, I assume he killed the Sarlacc, but like, I
I
mean, then
guess yeah,
again, you never know.
yeah. Like
So like,
I guess just to kind of say he did. I guess I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be really good, especially
Yeah,
like if they keep a very similar vibe that the Mandalorian had in the Book of Boba Fett is just, yeah, I think gonna be very solid, and especially since this isn't replacing Mando season three. That's
Hmm.
also like if it were replacing Mando season three, and we had to wait even longer for season three of Mando, I might be a little less excited. But because we're getting them both kind of close to each other, yeah,
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 no, exactly. And it's like, yeah, it's like they're kind of working. It's like one's probably going to lead very much into the other,
hmm
so like it doesn't distract you too much. It's kind of like a side tangent leading back into the
yeah,
original story. So like we don't know what's going to be going on between. Maybe we'll hear about it. Maybe we won't. But
yeah,
it'll be cool.
yeah. So you're number three, home stretch.
No, number three. Speaking of Mando season three, my number three is Mando season three. Now I know what you're thinking. Noah, why is it only number three?
Um,
That's not what you're
that's
thinking.
not what I'm thinking.
What isn't it supposed to be coming out like December?
No. So
No,
what happened
am I
was
wrong?
they announced Mando season three coming out in December, but
Right.
then as like a cover for the Book of Boba being being
Oh, so
that slot,
I got catfish.
yes,
I
they
got
Mando
catfish.
season three is coming out the next either February or March after that.
Okay, so it's picking. Okay, so I got catfish. That's my bad. Thank you. What? You're not. Rip. This
Unless
article's
I'm mistaken,
3 days old, and I'm like, you're
I'm
supposed to
pretty
be.
sure they said that Mando season three is. Hang on, let me just hang on.
I thought. Okay, maybe I am wrong. I don't know. Again, I am probably wrong, but
Hang on. Wait a minute. Hang on. I think. Hang on. Here's the exact quote. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, why would you?
okay. No, you're right. No, you're right.
So
It's
that's
supposed to be
going to be
September.
pretty soon following that.
Okay,
Yes.
my bad. So they're like, yeah, early 20. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
bad.
The Mandalorian will be back with the main characters that we will have to know and love. So that's going to be pretty soon following that. We're working on the pre production of that now while we're in production on Boba Fett. So,
Okay,
yeah.
my bad. I'm apologies, internet. I
If
I
you still
goofed.
want to talk about Mando season three, you can, or else do you
No,
want to
I mean
like,
I could, but it's okay. It's okay. No,
do you want to
I can
like,
figure something out because I had another idea that
uh,
I could also put it that was near my top, but I thought it was corny. But now I can put it later.
go for it.
But it's fine. No, but yeah, no. I was actually gonna put graduating.
Oh, I mean,
But I thought
yeah.
that was stupid. I thought that was dumb. So I was like, no, I don't want to say that. That's
The
lame.
title of this
That's
video is Top 10 Most Anticipated Things of 2021. That is a thing that'll happen in 2020.
yeah. I only hopefully graduated. Yeah, and you never know. Like it's
Never
we
know.
still kind of ways
That
to
could also
go.
get
So
delayed. You don't know.
so yeah, graduation will be postponed. How? Like, oh yeah. So I mean, we don't have to talk about that. I mean, we all know the struggle for
Yeah.
for you guys who have been through college. You know what's up. Like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
long road. My buddy here, he's already made it through. So,
Whoa. Not doing much with
ooh,
it yet, but I'm trying.
hey, not your fault, man. It's not exactly the most ideal of job markets right now.
Yeah.
But
But you know what?
uh,
2021 is still a good year to be excited for Mandalorian
yes,
season 3.
this
So
is true. There
you
it
can
is.
still be
There it is.
excited for season 3 Mando in 2021. So
I knew something like this was gonna happen. This is exactly what happened with Wonder Woman last time.
right?
And I was like, dang it, because like I always feel like I'm doing my research because I always look
Uh,
up the release dates. I do my research. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, no, this comes up because even the Spider-Man 3, I was like, wait, am I sure? And I looked at like 4 different things. I was like, okay, December 21st. That
as of
counts.
right now, that is correct.
Right. I was like today, and I even refreshed the article. Like, is this sure? This article's like 3 days old. It should be fine. Like, okay. But here we are. Okay, so
And the
that
funny,
happened, but we're just gonna mulligan that and pretend that didn't happen. It's fine.
the funny thing is, this could, if we had done this list in 2020 as well, this could have theoretically been the third time we put Wonder Woman on this list. We haven't seen it yet.
I know, I know. It's so bad, and I know it finally came out, which is great. But it's
We
like,
just
man,
haven't
I
seen
just,
it. We
and
haven't
that's
seen
what
it.
I'm worried about. Like, I kind of feel like one of like I would like to watch one of them, but it's like, and I don't get it's not because I don't think it's a good movie. I really like the first one. I'm
Mhm.
excited for this one, but it's like one. I'm not gonna go see it in the theaters because
No,
again, theaters I'm not doing it right now. And like if it's on the TV, it's like it's not the same. And like
no.
yes, I will watch it because I feel like I need to, but at the same time, I'm not like in a hurry because it's just
Don't
kind
you
of
already
not.
have HBO Max?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've had HBO Max for months, so like I could have watched it on Christmas. I just didn't
Just
feel
didn't.
like it. It's just not the same, you know. Like I
Yeah,
don't know. Maybe
I
I just need to get
understand.
my friends over. I don't know, but like,
Yeah,
gosh. But
eh,
yeah, but
whatever.
no. But anyway. Okay, your number three.
Okay, my number
Sir.
three is Harley Quinn season three.
Really?
Yes,
Okay. Wow. Are you caught up?
I'm caught up.
Okay.
The Harley Quinn show is something that I felt was so unnecessary. I
Oh,
thought
dude, I
the
remember.
trailers looked bad. I thought the concept of it, because I thought that Harley Quinn wouldn't really be able to carry her own show all that well. I thought the art style was bad. I just thought well, the characters just weren't portrayed well. That is some of the funniest crap I have ever seen in my
Yeah.
life.
It's so good, man.
Bane
Like
in that show might legitimately be top three favorite characters. Period. Like he is.
his voice. Like
I thought the thing where because obviously they're parodying Tom Hardy's Bane from Dark Knight Rises.
right.
I thought that would get old very fast.
It
The
doesn't.
first
Oh,
episode he was in, I was like, I'm not feeling it. And then he wasn't in like four episodes after that. And then he came back, and just every single thing he said was hilarious. The
no.
prayer, going to the prayer.
He's like that guy. He's like Joker. That's kind of lame. And
I'll
it's
throw
like
you
whoa,
off.
whoa. No, like the show is hilarious. Like it's so. And you think you like? I remember we talked about it before it came out. We were both like, "This is dumb." Why? Because it was the same time when we were talking about how they were making Harley Quinn like in everything, and
Yeah.
we were just kind of like, "Why are we oversaturated? Harley Quinn's cool, but not that cool." But the show is, and again, I try that we give credit. I give credit when credit is due,
Hmm.
and like credit is due. This is good. This is
Yes.
hilarious. Like I love the show. It's laughing. No, Kite Man is my guy, dude. I love Kite
They
Man.
made me feel
It's so
bad
dumb,
for
but he's so
Kite
funny.
Man. I felt bad that
Yes,
Kite Man wasn't happy at the end of this show. Like Kite Man, the laughing stock of DC since his introduction in the 50s or whenever. Like everyone collectively agrees he is the lamest DC character. He was actually pretty cool and actually like a likable character in the
yes.
show.
And like I hate to say it, but like kind of like some of his motives were kind of relatable. Like
Yeah.
he was a really cool dude. Like I would hang out with Kite Man. He was
Mhm.
a cool dude. Like it was crazy, and like yeah, you feel genuine emotion for him when it's like, dude, got his heart broken. That's rough.
Uh,
And like, but he was such a chat about it. Like he was
yeah.
cool about it. Like, it was like he
Mhm.
was an adult about it. Like, I don't know, man. The show was crazy. And like every character whenever they introduce a new character, there's
Oh yeah.
always something about them you really like.
Oh yeah, like Poison Ivy is also just so cool. Like
She's
I've never seen Poison Ivy is like never really portrayed. I like her just fine in most aspects, but I feel like they always kind of go heavy into like the seductress and like that type of thing. Here she's just a very cool woman, and like that's just she's just a great character, and like especially as like a parallel to Harley Quinn, who's just this chaotic mess, and she
Yeah.
when Ivy is very calm, like collective, just like Harley, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, no, I like even like the first episode where she's like He's like, he's not coming for you. No, Joker's coming. He's not coming. And like, she's like, it's been Kite Man oh hi, it's been 360. Like, it's so stupid. And they just have random, and because they have such random throwaway characters, they can
Mm,
do that all the time. And it's
yes.
so funny. And it's just like, oh, it's great. Like, or like the one where they're at like Penguin's like nephew's bar mitzvah or something,
Uh,
and they're like, yeah, and then she's like, now kids, no cursing. Sorry, Mrs. Cobblepot. Like, oh, dude, like there's
I,
so many like dumb things that are just really funny in this
I
show.
need to go back to Bane for a second. Just like I said,
Oh,
literally
please,
every
please.
single thing you said was just hilarious. Like my two absolute favorite lines in the entire show were my second favorite was him and when he and Two Face teamed up, and Two Face was like the two faces of crime, and he's like, I don't know, it's too much of a thinker, and he's like, trust me, they'll understand. And when he's fighting Batman later, it's like, me and Two Face are taking over this town, and like Batman's like, I thought it was just Two Face because of the sign. The billboard's like, what? I knew it was too much of a thinker.
No, like, oh my god.
And then like that alone is great. But my absolute favorite line from the entire show was it was in the episode where Harley Quinn was trying to get into Legion of Doom, and Bane was the like reception, like the person who was like passing around like treats and stuff. Just everything was thinking like every single time he drops a play on the ground, he's like, I'll blow you up, shish kebab, or whatever. But my absolute favorite line was when I think like Aquaman said something, and then Bane like said something. Is like, what? No, I can't believe that political killing comedy. Like the line was probably supposed to be. It's so sad that political correctness is killing comedy, but like it. I think they got like the voice actor like tripped over his words as saying it, but because he was saying it as Bane, it just like they just went with it. It was I kept
Just roll
political
with the train.
killing comedy. It just that was just so
Oh my
good.
god. No, I love the line where it's like the Joker like takes back. He's like, wait, that's Bruce Wayne. He's like, no. He's like, wait a minute. Wade Industry says she would have a fully electric car by this year. Where's my freaking electric car? Like, where's my electric car? I paid for that. Like, it's so off topic. It's ridiculous.
Uh,
He's like has to stop it. Like, wait a minute, let me go back. I was one of the stock sharers on this product. What the heck? You
might be evil, but I care about the environment. Come on.
yeah, no, oh my gosh, man. Like that's
Yeah,
such a
that was such a great portrayal of Joker. Like seeing him as like I feel like every single villain in that show, like the fact that this obviously is a show about bad people, but
right.
at every single turn, even the protagonists of the show still were garbage human beings. Like they didn't pull any shots. Like they every single line was just making fun of somebody, foul language everywhere, just like
Oh,
blood every like killing
oh,
like
no, like viciously murdering like cops and stuff, like
yeah,
casually, like oh my god, like
like
melting people, like
yeah, like
physically.
Scarecrow, unmasking Batman, and Joker just instantly melts. like,
Yeah, it's just like, jeez, dude,
like
like good gracious.
and yeah, like because they are villains, you just kind of like are okay with it. It's
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah, no,
They didn't try to make you they made you feel sympathetic for the main characters, but like they didn't really try to humanize them. They didn't really make them try to be like good guys. Even when Harley Quinn was trying to like kind of be a good guy or try to take down the Legion of Doom, she was still a villain while doing it. It was
right.
done very King Shark too. King Shark was a very interesting and brilliant portrayal of that character.
Yeah, it was like a very funny character too. Like I was
Mm,
not. Yeah, like I don't know, like everyone, like the plant. What's the plant's name?
oh, Fred? Is it
Yeah,
Fred?
yeah,
Yeah.
Fred. Yeah, Fred. Like everyone in that show like has their own like thing going on and did it really well. And then like a lot of compliments and like
Mm,
dude, like that show was funny. Like I gotta give it props. That show was very funny. I
Oh
need to
yeah.
watch it again. Like I watch
it
it.
it absolutely is one of those shows where you're watching like a couple episodes in, you're like, these characters I like just fine, but I feel like their character traits might get a little old, or I might not like them at the end. Even Clayface, I was convinced that Clayface would just get in my absolute end of like I would be at the end of my end wits, just like trying to listen to him, spout off random crap every 5 minutes. No, he was hilarious the whole time. Like, really great.
Yeah, no, like you would think, like, okay, if there's one character I don't want to like there are a few shows where there's not one character that I honestly dislike. There are very few shows,
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? But
I
it's
can't think
like,
of any. Like maybe the psychic guy was like the most annoying, but even then I liked him just
yeah,
fine.
but
So
it's like, but even yeah, but like his arc was still kind of cool, and like he was still like at the end when he kind of turned on them, that was still kind of cool how he
yeah.
did it, and like
Oh, I love
yeah,
Doomsday. I loved Doomsday. Not sorry, not Doomsday. Dark Side. Like Dark Side,
that's that.
just like sitting in his chair, just like monologuing, just like in that deep, just like booming voice, just like talking forever and ever about just how evil he is, about how like like it is
Everyone just
intimidating. Harley Quinn's just having none of it. It's like, what are you doing?
no, no, and it's funny because like normally when Darkseid does that, everyone's like, "Hail Darkseid, for Darkseid." Like, everyone just does not care. Like that's the best part. Like no one cares. Like you're just belonging to yourself at that
uh,
point. Like nobody cares. It's hilarious. Like it. Oh my gosh, it's
yeah,
just so funny, man. I can't deal with it.
yeah, and I know that most of the characters from season 1 and 2 are dead because she cleaned shop by the end of season 2. But Bane is still alive, thank goodness. Joker is still alive. I believe
Yeah,
everyone on like the main cast is still alive. Like,
yeah.
and there's they can introduce random other villains like Kite Man is still around. Like
Right. They have enough. Yeah, and they have enough. Basement dwelling esque villains from
yeah.
DC. They can completely refill the roster, so it's
Mhm.
all good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just I didn't expect to even like this show, but I love this show, so I want season 3
It's
now.
and that's completely fair because it is a great show. I mean, it's
Mm,
very like I my expectations were extremely were extremely exceeded like
mhm.
very quickly with the show. Within the first like 2 episodes, I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, this is pretty darn good. Oh,
Okay, so what is your number two?
my number two is Spider-Man 3
Oh, okay.
because yeah, I'm excited for Spider-Man. I really like where they left off. Obviously, in the last movie, where oh man, I know Spider-Man is.
Mhm.
What are we gonna do? Like,
Yep.
obviously, there's a lot of things they could do, but who knows what they're actually gonna do? Will they bring back Daredevil? Is there gonna, maybe are they gonna do something else? Or are the Avengers just gonna be like, all right, well, your cover's blown. You just live with us now.
Yeah.
Like, or like, what are they gonna do? Like, and also, and again, I don't mean to be like the soap opera guy, but like, okay, what's that mean for them at MJ? How's his life with that? Like, what is his
Yeah.
like? He's worked very hard to keep his like friendly neighborhood life sacred, and that just completely has gotten uprooted. Is
Hmm.
Mysterio still alive?
Yes.
Like, probably, and by probably, I mean definitely, but I mean, like, is that going to play into, are we going to do Sinister Six? Are we going to do potential? And then on top of all of that, now there's all this other Spider-Man stuff coming out of nowhere.
Hmm.
That now this movie's going to be the biggest crossover since the last Avengers movie, and that's going to be huge.
Uh-huh.
And then like, so like now, like I was already very excited, and then when I kept hearing, oh, this person's confirmed, this person's coming, this person's coming, this person, I'm like, okay, now this movie's on steroids. Like it
Yeah.
looks unfair. So I'm just kind of like, there is nothing I am not more excited about than this movie, honestly, except for obviously one thing. But like, but
Yeah.
it's like, but it's like, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on this year. And like, really, like, the biggest question, honestly, there's so much questions about this movie, but none of them are, is this going to be done well? It's all, how are they going to make this awesome?
Hmm.
Because everyone, like, Spider, they know how important Spider-Man is to everyone. They know how much it means to the people if they brought in the old, they brought in Tom, or not Tom, well, obviously Tom Holland. If they
I
brought
hope
in
he came
Tobey
back.
Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or whoever else, brought that like, and we are kind of entering that stage of give the fans what they want. At least
Mm,
kind of with Marvel and like Star Wars stuff more recently. It's so like this could be that a big step for that because
yeah.
no one is like no to this. Like I don't know, maybe there are, but like this is gonna be amazing. I'm really
Mm,
excited. This is what movies are all about. Like this is the movie that I'm gonna be like yelling about. Right?
uh,
Like Black Widow, I might be excited just to see another movie again, but I am going to be losing my mind in the Spider-Man movie
oh yeah,
more than likely.
absolutely.
So
More than probably any other movie this year, I would
oh,
imagine.
absolutely. I can't even. No, absolutely. Assuming, yeah,
Assuming movies
assuming it
happen.
doesn't include that.
Yeah.
But again, we can only hope.
Mm. So my number two is Young Justice Phantoms.
Mm,
Like the fact that Young Justice season three happened was a miracle in and of itself.
seriously.
But like the fact that it's called Young Justice Phantoms, obviously Red Hood's coming back. That's going to
Yep.
happen. We're probably going to get more ramifications of Wally West. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe people will start forgetting he exists because I really like that aspect of, you know, like he, being a phantom in the sense of people don't remember who he is. Introducing, brand new characters into the squad, potentially focusing more on the like main cast, considering the outsiders are already had their own season, so you can kind of focus on new or older characters. Maybe like I just it's just hopefully more of the same. And since I some people didn't really like season three for some reason, I thought it was pretty solid.
I,
I,
I will say, like, I didn't think season three was bad, but my problem with season three personally,
mm,
and this is kind of what a theme that I've noticed with kind of season two also, it's like when they add in new characters, they really want to make the show about the new
that's
characters.
fair. Yeah.
And that's kind of my personal grievance with it. Because it's like,
Mm,
don't get me wrong, like, I think Brion, Halo, Voyager are fine, but I'm not here for them.
yes.
I'm here for the OGs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I'm here for Nightwing and Artemis and Superboy. And like, I'm here for them
Yeah.
along with these characters. Because even in season two, it kind of became less about the original characters and more about, okay, Beetle and Beast Boy. And again, not bad characters, but not the reason I'm here.
Yes.
And that's kind of my thing. And I know it's about the team and expanding. And at this point, they have what, like five, six
Four or
teams
five
now?
teams. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You got, at this point, I'm like, wait, who is actually the original? Like, I'm
Yeah.
so lost.
Because you have the Justice League, you have the team, you have,
Right.
and like within the team, you have Alpha and Beta Squad, and you have the
Right.
Outsiders, then you have Batman Incorporated, which like some
Right.
of these people are in this. And, like,
Yeah, and they don't. And then the people in this don't know this exists and all this
yeah.
stuff. And okay, I don't even. It's ridiculous. Like they've got teams within teams, people on two teams, people on teams that only on teams. Then they have the other. It's like
Yeah.
this is crazy outside, and like they're kind of just adding more teams, and I'm kind of afraid they're gonna add another team. I'm not gonna lie.
They might.
Because if we had another team, I'm like, okay, yeah, and man, you have the whole metahuman like center or whatever, and El
Right.
Paso or whatever, like. And I know that's not really a team, but it's still kind of an area with characters we're invested
Hmm.
in, sort of. So like, it's kind of a lot of places, but also still focused on one place, and that place isn't the main characters we're familiar with. I guess
Yeah.
that was kind of my original. As far as like the story, I like the idea of metahuman trafficking. I think it's a very like kind of like okay, this is gonna. I'm not sure how to say, it, but like kind of a real world issue, but obviously
Yeah.
not because like humans aren't real, but like human trafficking is a thing. So
Hmm.
like it kind of makes total sense. If this was real, this would definitely be happening.
Yeah.
So that yeah.
Mm.
So I like that, and I do like, and I don't and like the whole like, and I don't like this year they kind of introduced the whole like, we're on potential enemy soil. They don't endorse for the Justice League, so like we have to have like you know completely like unmarked suits and stuff, which kind of
Hmm.
makes sense because like, but it's like okay, but do we just work for the U.S. or like who do we work for? Is that jurisdiction and like the
Yeah.
whole political stuff, which is interesting, but like I don't know, like I don't know. Sorry, I'm stealing
Oh,
your
no, it's
number
fine.
two. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Like, I also really want to see more of this Amanda Waller Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
We got a little taste of that last season, but I think that's going to be more of a thing in this season potentially. Uh, just yeah, just like with kind of like with Marvel's What If. There's so much potential, just so much breadth of DC content they can throw in the show, and because this show assumes you've read a comic book, it's not going to spoon feed you anything. It just
No. It assumes you've read all the comic books
yeah,
because you
like you
these
know who
characters
Jason
just
Todd is.
show up.
Yeah, characters just show up. Like you've read, you know who Jason Todd is. You know that he died, and now the Red Hood's here. You get it. Like yeah,
Like you know who that baby is. You know who that and like it's very like I love that about it because it gives you points, but it also just kind of okay, but just keep that in mind because we're doing this still.
yeah.
And it's like it sets stuff up because that one episode with the whole league, with their like infiltrating Ra's al Ghul, and like you see
Hmm.
Jason, you see Talia and Damien, and like all that stuff, and you're just like, that's a whole season's worth of stuff
Yeah.
right there. But that's only going to be a part of it, and for all we
Mm.
know, part of that could already because like, and yeah, I kind of like how like I mean, we went from season 2 to season 3. The Bat Family went from all the from Tim like to up to Tim Drake. So now we have Orphan, Stephanie Brown, Batwoman's in here.
Yeah.
Like they have everybody is just kind of here,
Yeah.
and it's just like
Like
whoa,
we might, I guess. What Duke is that? Like the only one
yeah,
left?
pretty much. Like
Maybe
yeah, pretty much. The
Lucius
heart.
Fox is Luke Fox. Yeah, Luke
They had
Fox.
Harper Row in an episode.
Yeah,
Like
Harper Row. Who even
you
is
know
that?
how down the like that is like down the Bat family. That's like the one of the last branches
Uh,
on the Bat family tree. Like that is so integrated. Like, and again, I'm not saying, and again, they haven't used her as a character, as like a main, hero yet. I'm sure they'll get to that.
yeah.
But like, the fact that she was just in an episode,
Uh-huh.
it was just kind of like, wow, this show is putting in everybody,
Yes.
and I like it because they use it the way they're supposed to be used.
Hmm.
Spoilers, very rambunctious, but it kind of gets with it. Orphan doesn't talk. Like it's
Hmm.
you don't get a lot of them, but like from what you've seen, it looks like they're doing it right.
Yes.
And I do think it's a little interesting. They kind of just redesigned everyone to match the animated movies in this
Yeah.
season, but I get it just because it's probably just more efficient to do it that
Hmm.
way. And I don't hate any of the designs, so it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's really cool. There's so
Hmm.
much to do. My other gripe with it though
Hmm.
is that although we did that, the whole okay, where does Darkseid come into play was kind of answered with the whole anti-life equation thing.
Yeah.
There was like no Darkseid still.
He was in like one episode, and it was about like his
Yeah,
feud with Vandal Savage. I there I think that's season 5. I believe, assuming they get to a season 5. I think
right.
they're kind of going on a trajectory where like they have enough space in season 4 to like add the rest of the like fringe DC characters in season 5, so season 4, and then season 5 will be Dark Side stuff. I think that's just
Okay.
kind of how it's building to.
Okay.
Like we might get like a Green Lantern or two more in this season. We might get a little bit more Bat Fam, uh, whoever else. Just we're kind of already kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like
Yeah, it's just interesting to me because like certain characters are getting at it, but then
we don't
certain
even
characters
have
you think would
Starfire. There's no Starfire yet,
not even
or
Starfire.
Raven,
Where's
huh?
Supergirl? Like I mean, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you would think they have some characters that a lot of people haven't even heard of,
Mm,
and then it's like kind of more mainstream-ish characters they don't really have. And I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
it's CW stuff, but they can't use Supergirl, but I don't think so because they use everyone else. But at the same time, I don't know. And like, I don't know. It's just
yeah,
interesting because it's like I understand you have Superboy, so Supergirl also kind of makes
it's
it a
kind of
little
yeah,
complicated, but at the same time, I don't know.
yeah.
I
I
mean, they
think
have,
I have a pretty good feeling that Starfire and or Raven is just going to kind of show up and
yeah,
speed.
yeah, which
I think
makes
would be
sense.
fine.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and I think Starfire would work very well. She because at least at the beginning she did kind of like it made sense because like Miss Martian kind of had that kind of Starfire vibe to her
yeah.
at the beginning, but I feel like now it would be okay,
Mm,
you know.
I agree.
But yeah, who
But yeah,
knows? Whew,
I'm excited for season four. Like I said, it was a miracle that season three even happened, and the fact that it
yeah,
actually was, I thought it actually was pretty good, just makes me more
yeah,
excited for Phantoms. So,
yeah,
okay. So before we get to our number ones, do you want to go over your honorable mentions real quick?
yeah. We can.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do all
So
yours.
honorable mentions. Some of the ones I meant, like one of my honorable mentions you did mention, like I had the what if in the honorable mentions just because I don't really know anything about it, so it's kind of
Mm,
like it would basically pretty much all be on speculation.
yeah,
So like, that's not super fair, I guess. And then along with that, I also had like that there's Miss Marvel is supposed to be doing a thing. I'm kind
right.
of see what that's about, but again, I don't know a ton about that. But adding to the universe, she was just in the Avengers game, which although like people didn't like,
Yeah,
they're trying. They'll add something to it. It could have big implications. We don't know yet.
yeah.
And there's that. But and I think I had one more. Let me scroll here. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I added it to my list. I think it's okay. No, I think Snyder Cut originally was going to be an honorable mention, but
Mm,
I just put it on there because I did want to talk about it.
okay,
But that's all I've got. Problem.
okay. So I essentially had a list of 20 that I just read the top 10 of.
Okay.
Some of them you went over, but some of them I'll at least go over briefly. My
Okay.
number 20 is just new game announcements. Like
Fair
this
enough.
year was relatively dry of new games, even though new consoles launched. Um, like there was no major Nintendo Direct this year. E3
Yeah.
didn't happen this year. Like I
Right.
just even if even if it is Sony and Microsoft games, which I don't personally really play all that much, I still like seeing new announcements happen. I still like just the feeling of a press conference or some kind of video that just here's some stuff to be excited for, and I love that. Especially
Hmm.
if it's the Nintendo Direct or some kind of Nintendo E3 press conference thing, just to learn more about stuff going forward because there are so many games that I want made, and like there's always a little bit of potential. Like it could be here, if it's not there, oh, it could be in the next one. Like I really like that feeling.
Yeah.
Number 19, Godzilla versus King Kong. Just two giant monsters punching each other to death.
Going.
Breathing fire. Like why not? Like it's not going to be good, but it's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's just a fun movie. Monsters killing each other. Got to see it on the big screen though.
Yes, I don't want them to team up to fight some other villain. King Ghidorah was already in Godzilla 2, so that's not going to be interrupting this. Is just going to be them fighting. That's all I want. Number 18 is Hawkeye. Uh, some of the like Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. Some of the like production photos we've seen that have been leaked look great. There's the dog. Yes. uh, number 17 is The King's Man, the prequel to the Kingsman movies.
Oh yeah.
The trailer looked great. I love the Kingsman movies so far. Like seeing the origins
Highly
of
recommend.
this franchise. It said in World War I, I think. Yeah,
Something like that. So
or
yeah, this
two.
would be pretty
One of
awesome.
the World Wars. I think this is a very nice setting to kind of start this universe out at.
Mhm.
Number 16, Shang-Chi, Marvel
Yeah.
movie. I don't know much about this character, which is why I couldn't put it any higher, but
Right.
a
Still
martial
though.
arts, like a full-on martial arts Marvel movie that reintroduces the Mandarin as the main villain. Yeah, great. Number 15 was the Snyder Cut, so people shut up about it. Number 14, I don't think it'll actually come out next year, but considering next year is Zelda's 35th anniversary, we'll at least get some trailer for Breath of the Wild 2.
Probably.
Breath of the Wild 1 is legitimately one of the best games ever made. It's so good. And if it's just more of that,
If it ain't broke.
yeah, it's just more of that, tweak a couple of things here and there, add a system to like sharpen or somehow reforge weapons so people will shut up about weapons breaking. Like that's all. I'd literally make it a perfect 10 out of 10 across the board. People like don't like the fact that that weapons break too fast. If they just increase the durability or allow you to like sharpen or reforge stuff, like there's literally nothing to complain about after that point. Number 13, the rest of the Smash Fighter Pass Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
We already got Sephiroth in this game, so I mean, I don't know who else they could possibly add. I have some ideas of like who I would want. I want Doom Guy. I want Crash Bandicoot. I want another Zelda rep. Those are the three characters that I feel,
Okay.
especially Zelda. Some other Zelda character. We only have really three Zelda characters in this game, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like three Links, Ganondorf, and Zelda. That's and Sheik. Whatever. So yeah, three characters. Just some other Zelda character needs to be in this game. Like it's one of their most important franchises. Yet there's only
Absolutely.
like it's just weird that there's so few reps.
And yet there's what, 10 Fire Emblem
There's
characters?
8 Fire Emblem characters. 8. Uh, but yeah, like even if none of those three get in, whoever they do get in, since Sephiroth was third, is going to be someone at least not on that level, but not going to be like just some random Kirby villain. It's going to be like
No,
someone intense.
it's a big one. It's gonna be a big one.
Yeah. And then number 12 was Loki, and 11 was Black Widow, which you already talked about. They're going to be good.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
you're number one. I'm very curious as to what this is.
Okay. Again, this is corny. My number one's honestly just to go back to normal.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It's like I knew this was gonna be dumb because it was like, wow, better than Spider-Man. What are you gonna say? It's like I just want to go. I just want to go
Just not having to
outside.
wear a mask anymore. It's going to be
No,
so
okay,
good.
like I know, like I was at the grocery store earlier today, and again, I am not. I am pro mask. I'm like, wear it, like just do it because like it's the cool thing to do. Just do it. It's
Yeah.
fine. But like, I get it. I am tired of it, man. Like oh man, like I'm so tired of it, and just like so much stuff is not open. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
closed. I can't go anywhere. Like I can't. Like me and my friends. Like, I wanna have my friends over to like watch Wonder Woman, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
oh, like they have friends over. It's like this like it's like
Yeah,
oh, so
like
like honestly,
I think honestly the thing I'm most looking forward to going back to normal is just the collective human population showed me how dumb it is. Just collectively, especially in America. I don't think this is a political statement to say that people are dumb. Like just it seems like collectively they're just everybody just decided to just be idiots over these past 10 months and like 9 however long it's been. And I just want to go back to a time where I don't look at someone and be like, you're wearing your mask under your nose. At least you're wearing it, but what are you doing? That barely helps. Like, like it feels like you, like I always wear mine properly, but at my job, I constantly have to tell people to wear their mask, do certain things, like due to quarantine or due to COVID regulations. I've had so many people talk back to me as to why they can't do this, why do I have to wear it over my nose? Why can't I be here? Why, like, just, just simply. it shows me just how many people on this planet don't know how to read. Like,
Oh,
in the museum, there are arrows directing you where to go. At the entrance of the aquarium, there's an entrance and an exit. Half of the people that walk into the aquarium, I have to go to them and say, hey, follow the arrow through the actual entrance. Don't go through the exit. Like, how does that many people not know? Just read a sign that says go
yeah.
right.
I,
There's a as soon as you walk in the door, there's a rope that divides the two entrances. Yet they go around the rope through the
you go
exit.
around.
Like, how do you? I feel my IQ lowering just by watching these people exist. It's gonna make my job so much easier being like, oh, they went through the wrong way, whatever. Like, it's not like they're gonna kill anybody by going that way. Like,
And yep. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, and I get it. And like, also, just like, I don't know, like you don't realize how like it's a lot harder to keep in touch with people when you can't
mm,
physically go see them. It's like it's like when we're basically like moved away, but not because you can
yes,
barely see people anymore, and like yeah, you can go do stuff, but it's like okay, well usually it's like oh yeah, my friends will go to the mall and watch movies. Like well, I mean the mall's kind of not really the place to be right now. Don't even
movies
know if
aren't.
movies are open right now,
Yeah,
so okay, well, do you want to wait out? It's like, well, we can't really go to. It's like, okay, you guys want to like go to the grocery store together? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing you can really
yeah,
do. So it's kind of just like, all right, well, here we go. And I guess that's kind
mm,
of my biggest. And also, I know you're not a student anymore, but like, dude, online school is not the move. Like, I
yeah.
am so tired.
I
Like,
understand. Yeah,
oh man, like yes, it again. Hopefully, it is good for like I know some people like oh well, it's good for getting extra help, but I mean as far as
extra
actually
help.
learning,
Yeah,
yeah, but as far as like actually learning, it's pretty difficult. So like
mm,
I mean, it can be at least, especially like me. I'm a very visual person,
oh yeah,
so like I like seeing my teacher do it and like getting it. And like on Zoom, it's like and sometimes teachers don't even know how to use Zoom or not really
yeah.
good at it, or like they're like, "Can you see my screen?" And we're just like, "No."
No,
Like like I don't know, or oh, I posted this assignment. No, you didn't. Like I don't know, like and it's just kind of like whatever. But yeah, I just and again, not saying that because again, I got a semester to go. I'm not going back up there, but I mean,
uh,
like like, but it's just I guess it's just like I guess it's the thought that counts. I guess,
yeah.
but it is what it is. We will move on. We will
Mm,
hopefully, vaccines on the way. Some people have already got it. Hopefully, we are at least on the way out of the cave.
yes,
But
yes. Hopefully,
you never know.
like, hopefully it won't go until March, but it probably will. But we'll just tough it out until
I,
then.
I mean,
Until then,
yeah.
just
I
keep
mean,
wearing your
I
mask.
personally,
Just whatever
yeah.
you're saying.
Personally, I say May to June is like okay.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think. That's what I'm hoping. That's my honest like. I think we'll be
Hmm.
in a better place by then.
Yeah.
But you
Although
never know.
that after it is New Year's Day today, but all those parties that happened last night, all the Christmas parties where the incubation period still hasn't kicked in yet, like like come early next week, we're gonna get a huge spike in cases because people just decided they're gonna be unsafe and just eh, walk around without their mask on. Like as soon as now that the vaccine is out, I guarantee more and more people are not going to be wearing their mask around because they feel they're safe to go out, even though like the mask is protecting both you and others from you maybe having it. Like it just ah,
Yeah, but
whatever. Just
yeah,
try to be safe. Try to do what you can to help get us back to normal. If people had just tried that, back in March last year, we probably would have at least been closer to done by now. But we're not, so whatever.
yeah,
But
but
yeah,
we'll see.
especially
Oh,
going to the movie part is going to be very very exciting.
Yes, no, I'm very excited about going to the movies. I'm not even gonna lie,
Mm.
but we'll see. You
Yeah,
know,
we'll see.
we'll see. But yes, your number one.
My
Sorry,
number
I was
one.
kind of
That
I
was
was kind
fine.
of
Yeah.
a
If you went into this video thinking that my number one wasn't going to be Pokemon, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know
always.
what you're doing.
It's always, hey, and that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing at all. Like, I loved Pokemon Sword and Shield. I know people hate those games for some reason. I They definitely have some flaws, but I feel overall the story overall I really liked. I liked the vast majority of the new Pokemon introduced. I liked pretty much all the gym leaders. I liked almost all the new characters. I thought the games were a little easy and maybe a little short, but like overall, I thought they were pretty good. And the DLC that was released last year just kind of built upon all the best parts about it. It really fleshed out the kind of open world mechanic that the wild area had, but that the entire both expansions were just large areas to walk around in. It was just a fun, good, in my opinion, good Pokemon game. Although I think this year's Pokemon game has potential to be exponentially better
Ooh,
because I think that this year is absolutely 95% certainty that this is the year we get Diamond and Pearl remakes. I
you're
think
sure about this?
I
Like if I hit the alarm and it doesn't come out, I'm gonna look bad.
I it just feels right to me for a couple of reasons. First,
Okay.
it's I think it's the 25th anniversary of Pokemon as a franchise, meaning they're going to do something big. The main thing people want right now is Diamond and Pearl remix. I personally feel like the Diamond and Pearl as they aren't necessarily due for a remake per se, but because they are on generations old hardware, it makes sense to update them for new systems. And since so many people adore those games and want them on new hardware with new graphics and whatnot, I think it just makes sense to do that for a 25th anniversary. The second major reason is because in Sword and Shield, even after all the expansions, there was still I think 200-ish Pokemon that weren't in the Pokedex.
Wow.
A solid, I don't know if it's a majority, but of all the Pokemon that weren't in the Pokedex, a pretty significant number of those were from Generation 4. Every single fossil Pokemon from Gen 1 through 8 was brought back in the expansion, except for the Gen 4 fossils. Yeah,
Ah.
it just feels right to me to have the only reason that would make sense to me is if they were working on Diamond Pearl remakes and then they would add those Pokemon into Sword and Shield. 'Cause I assume they would be the same generation.
Right.
And I think Diamond and Pearl came out in 2006, at least in Japan, 2006. So again, this would also be the 15-year anniversary. Ow, ow, 15 years. Anyway, saying that out loud, I wasn't ready for that to come out of my mouth, but apparently they're 15 years old come May. Okay. I was 8 years old when those games came out. Okay. At least in Japan. I didn't play them until I was like 9 or 10, but anyway. 15-year anniversary of those games coming out, it just makes complete sense for Down and Pro remakes. My only fear is that they're not going to go hard enough on what all I want in these games. But if they do absolutely everything to the logical extreme of a Down and Pro remake, I think these games can be very, very special. And I have an entire video idea of everything I want in a Down and Pro remake. I am that sure of them coming out. I'm going to probably release at some point either kind of later this month, but I'm going to go ahead and break down like the main bullet points. I want them to base it more so on Pokemon Platinum. Pokemon Platinum is, like the third version. That's just like the better
Hmm.
version of it. All the
Right.
gym leader teams are so much better. The challenge of it just feels it's like the most consistently challenging as you go. There's no like major roadblocks. There's no like gym leader that's easier than the last one. Um, the Pokédex is completely fleshed out because in Down in Pearl, for some reason, there was a lot of Pokemon that got evolutions. A previous gen Pokemon that got evolutions, almost all of them weren't in the main Pokédex. They were accessible in the post game, but in Platinum, they were available. So if they just go off the Platinum Pokédex and Platinum Gym Leaders in Elite Four, I think that would be ideal. I also really want them to do Mega Evolutions. Have you
Mm.
done have you like heard about Mega Evolutions or
I've heard
anything?
of it. I haven't actually done one personally, but yeah, I know
Okay. Well,
the path of it.
they were a mechanic introduced in Gen 6 where certain previous gen Pokemon essentially got to like unlock their full potential. It's kind of dumb, but it's also kind of great. And like it just got like a cool new like looking form with like new stats and stuff. It just made some previous Pokemon that were already really good, like Garchomp and Charizard, just get better. A Pokemon that needed help, like Sableye and Mawile, get a lot better, actually usable, and like that's just such a cool concept. And I want them to do more of that. Unfortunately, that Mega Evolution wasn't in Sword and Shield at all. Like the ability to Mega Evolve wasn't in the code. Period.
No.
They had this other mechanic called Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing, where like certain Pokemon could get new forms when they Dynamax, but like it's not the same. It's honestly kind of iffy. I hope they don't go that mechanic. It can be in there, but I hope it's not like I hope they don't just replace. I hope they don't just give all the Pokemon you'd want to have Mega Evolutions Gigantamax forms. I want them to actually get new Mega Evolutions for all the starters and all the other like significant Pokemon throughout the way, like they did with the Ruby and Sapphire remakes.
Okay.
Um, Also, like and that's the one thing I kind of feel there is the least likely to happen, but I still think that if they did it, it would be very cool.
Yeah.
And
And again,
oh,
sorry.
go,
No, no,
go.
no, no, no. It's your no. You go ahead. You're the guy. Don't worry. I'm just reiterating what you
It
already
would be
know.
yes, it would be a lot of fun if they did that. Oh,
Yeah.
just the fact that like these new designs are very creative, and a lot of the Pokemon that would get Mega Evolutions, like a lot of the Gym Leader or Elite Four strongest Pokemon who would get Mega Evolutions, kind of need them anyway in order to continue to be viable. I think that's
Mm.
something that needs to happen. Um, the thing that I 100% want to happen. If this didn't happen, I would be the most disappointed. Like you can not have Mega Evolutions, even if you didn't have the Platinum decks, I'd be annoyed, but whatever. If they didn't have this thing, so in the Ruby and Sapphire remakes, after you complete the main story, there was this event called the Delta episode. You played Sapphire, right?
Yes.
Did you beat it?
I did not finish it. No, I am. I'm somewhere. I don't even
Okay,
remember.
that's fine. Whatever.
It's been a
So
while.
in Sapphire and Ruby, after you beat the main game, you can then go catch Rayquaza.
Right.
Yeah, and in Emerald, Rayquaza was like the main Pokemon that, like the main box legend that you had to deal with.
Mm.
In Oros, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, the remakes, after you beat the main story, there was a thing called the Delta episode that focused there was like an incomplete story mission that focused on you, like on this new character, like messing with stuff, and you having to go stop her from getting Rayquaza, and then catching Rayquaza yourself, and then going up and like destroying a meteorite that had Deoxys inside of it, because like
Oh,
that's
dang.
just because why not?
No, that's a lot.
Yeah. So they had this entire extra story bit that involved like essentially incorporating the Emerald parts into it, and also having a Pokemon Deoxys that was a event legendary in Ruby and Sapphire, but now it's actually in the core game.
Okay.
Diamond and Pearl and Platinum had, I believe, 13 legendaries throughout the entire game. I think it's like 6 of them are locked behind events.
Dang,
I
it's
think it's
crazy.
6, 5 or 6. So they have so much potential to incorporate all of that into either post game or like some kind of DLC. Like I think it would be a insane missed opportunity if they didn't do a Delta episode esque thing for at least most of those events or like other legendary Pokemon. At least as DLC. It would just make so much sense to me. It would make so many fans happy, especially me. It's just and like especially since this is going to be, the big 25th anniversary game of
Hmm.
Pokemon, put as much effort into it as you possibly can. Yeah, it just I think it has so much potential to be something very special. Although because it is more modern Game Freak, and as we can see in Sword and Shield, they didn't put 100% effort into it. It was like 80-ish% effort as far as like as much as they could. For how much this game sells, it should have been a much, much better game, even though I did like it. You could tell where the cracks kind of were.
Yeah,
I
wasn't
want them to go
perfect.
hard in on Diamond and Pearl remakes, especially since last year we didn't have a core Pokemon game, it was just DLC. I want
Hmm.
them to go in hard on Diamond and Pearl remakes, assuming they happen, which they probably will. So, because they already announced that they're going to have some big celebration for Pokemon this year. Even if it's not Diamond and Pearl
Hmm.
remakes, it's going to be some new game that's going to be, I think, going to be something special. So,
Yeah. No matter what they do, it's going to be pretty solid.
yes,
But if it happened to be Diamond and Pearl, it
I
would
would
be.
jump out of my chair excited. Because even last year, there was like the big Pokemon Direct at the beginning of the year, like they always do, when
Hmm.
they announced Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team or Rescue Team Deluxe, which is a remake of a Game Boy game back in like I think that released in 2006 as well. When like the trailer started, it said in 2006. I was like, oh crap, Down in Pearl, and I was Mystery Dungeon. Mystery Dungeon's still pretty cool, but I was
Yeah, you're
I
like,
wanted
huh?
Down in Pearl, but
I
I'm
mean, yeah, but not really as much as it could. Yeah,
still
it's kind of awkward. I'm still excited, but like, man, you really had me going there. Oh,
so
right into their trap, probably. You probably didn't even realize.
probably so yeah. Obviously, that is the thing I'm most excited about. I am like even in the year where Endgame and Star Wars happened, which apparently ends up being a Star Wars should have been at the bottom of that list. Not even tiered on that list.
Hey, you didn't know.
I
We
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
I didn't know. In the year that Star Wars and Endgame came out, Pokemon was still above all those, and I felt
Yeah.
justified in that. So obviously, Pokemon in this year is gonna be yeah
No, I mean, I feel like it's gonna be Pokemon for you every year,
maybe
but that's
maybe
okay. That is your thing, and you, as long as millions of others,
mm,
love that.
yep.
Probably, maybe billions at this point. I
And
don't
as
know.
and
Everyone
as
will love
Sword
it.
and Shield shows, even if the Pokemon games aren't good, people still buy it. Still a
Yeah,
20 million seller. That hasn't happened
I
since
love it.
Gold and Silver, I think. Maybe since Ruby and Sapphire. I think Ruby and Sapphire might have been the last 20 million seller games. Like that hasn't happened in
Maybe.
a while.
Yeah,
Yet
but
Sword and
like
Shield, like
Pokemon fans are growing up. We have our own money now,
yep,
and the next generation's like, wait, what's this? And it's like, let me show you.
yeah,
Like, and then Pokemon is huge, and
yes,
it will continue to be, and it should be. It's awesome. There's so much great stuff. The year is coming. The
mm,
potential is
there.
unlimited,
Oh yeah.
essentially.
So yes, clearly there is a ton of stuff to be excited about in
Yeah.
2021, mostly because most of it got delayed into 2021, but still, all the better. As long as it doesn't get delayed again,
Right.
it's gonna be great.
We're gonna be right. Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Hopefully.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about before we sign off?
Just Happy New Year. Stay safe. Stay
Mm,
happy. And who knows?
yeah,
Fingers crossed this
yeah,
time. You
yeah.
know.
What are y'all excited for? Do you just want to go back to normalcy and not care about everything else? Do you just are there any other movies, games, shows you care about sports? I don't know.
I
Like,
mean, sports is pretty much still going as far as I get. I mean, they've got
yeah,
basketball's back, so football season's going. I mean, they're
uh,
making it happen.
yeah.
So
So yeah, tell us what y'all are excited about. Tell us if you think that we shouldn't be excited about anything that we're excited for. If you want to say that, sure, go ahead. But we'll be excited for it anyway. Like, just be contrarian, and sure, whatever. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm, so I'll take anything. So yeah, happy New Year. Hope this one's better than last.
The
And
bar is not high.
honest, yeah, and yeah, we'll see you all next time.
Take care, everybody.